Hey guys, thank you for tuning in and to today's video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how you can properly build your credit while using some of the easier cards to get, like secured credit cards. This is a type of card that you're definitely going to be using once you are starting to build your credit. Anyone at any age can really start to use these cards. The really big misconception when it comes to secured cards is that you need to be, in high school or college to really get them. But honestly, there's so many people that start building their credit after the age of 25 that this card is really open to anyone with a rather thin file, meaning that you don't have much credit history or, just people who might have worse credit. So maybe you missed a couple student loan payments. Maybe you had a credit card in the past and you just weren't really the best with it. This is the type of card that can really help you dig yourself out that hole. So today, let's talk about how you can have a secured card and have that help you get from, one of your worst scores or no score at all to, 750 plus score. The first thing you want to do with cards like this is you want to use the card regularly for routine transactions. If you can, you really want to put recurring items like a phone bill or cable bill, anything like that. That's the type of things that you want to put on this card. You want to use this card as something where you're going to get guaranteed payments on it, going to be able to pay it off yourself. So pretty much bills every single month is a payment that you're used to making. So if you can just put that on a card and pay off the card instead of the company, then you'll see your credit score shoot up tremendously. The next thing you want to do is, like I said, when you're getting these bills charged to the card, you want to pay them off in full, just like you would pay the regular company. When you get the statement balance, you want to close that limit as fast as you can. So pretty much if they tell you, you spent $400 this month, this is what you owe us before the next month. You either want to pay that balance right before the statement date so they can say that you didn't use the money that you did use because you paid it off before they saw it, or before the next statement, you want to make sure that you pay off that card in full. Make sure that it's not harming your credit in any way by having a high credit utilization rate or impacting yourself by not making that payment and getting hit with that high interest rate. After 6 months of regular use, you want to ask the issuer to remove the requirement for a security deposit. This might be hard, depending on the type of company that you got the card from. So companies like Discover, they're usually known to give you that money back automatically after 6 to 12 months of on-time payments and, just kind of saying, hey, thank you for being a customer of ours. Capital One, from personal experience, they're not really the ones to give you an upgrade or, your cash back pretty much. So, like I said, with the upgrades, some companies will give you just an upgraded card and say, hey, you got promoted, here's an unsecured card. Other companies will give you your money back just as a thank you. Other companies like Capital One will just say, this is our deposit. Until you close your card, you will not be getting your deposit back. The step to making sure that you get that raise, or making sure that you ask the issuer to remove the security deposit in general, is so critical. You want to make sure that you can even mark this on your calendar. That's how critical it is. However, if they do turn you down, keep using the card as before. Use it the same way. Keep your bills on it. Keep minimal payments on it that you're guaranteed to pay off. And you want to ask again in 3 months. And 3 months after that, if you get denied, you basically want to keep asking them for a raise until they give it to you, or until they take that security deposit off. Either or, you want to keep pushing and keep just letting them know on every single call that you get, like, hey, my payments are on time. I'm never getting hit with interest rates. You guys never getting late payments from me. Just let's build this relationship and let's get that credit raised, or that credit limit raised. When the card becomes unsecured, request an increase in your credit limit. This too is very critical. So, like I said, you want to make sure that you're getting rid of that security deposit. You want to make sure that you're raising your credit limit, preferably about 10 times the amount that you would spend on a monthly basis. So if your spends, come out to $700, you want to try to get to the $7,000 range. However, the issue with credit limit increases is that most companies will see about a 2.5 times, as like a great kind of catapult into this new limit. So pretty much, if you're sitting at about the $1,000 limit, most banks will see a $2,500 limit perfect for what you're doing. However, if you're spending, you know, if you want to get to that 10x, you have to get to 7,000. So if you're spending $700, sitting at $1,000 credit limit, you need to get to 7,000. You need to keep asking your issuer for increases and increases. So this is a step that more than likely won't stop. With secured cards, with regular cards, you're going to be asking for increases pretty much until they get you to like that $20,000 range where you're just, there's no need to get any more money at that point. After you've had the secured card for about 6 months, you want to apply for 2 more cards. Retailers' cards such as Amazon, Target, and gas stations tend to be easier to get. And if you do get those, you want to make sure you use them the same way. So I would suggest kind of staying at about that 3 card limit. 3 cards is pretty much perfect for what your FICO score really likes to see for a good mix of cards. It makes your file not thin anymore. So pretty much you want to make sure you keep applying for cards if you're eligible until you get to that 3. After you get to that 3, I would personally suggest just kind of sitting there for 12 months or so and use those cards in rotation, build them up. You don't even have to max them out every single time. Just put a few purchases on it. Some of my oldest cards have some high limits on them, and I still use them just because they have higher limits than other cards that I have. But you just want to make sure that you keep those cards. If anything, after you get some more after the year, you can do something that we like to call sock drawer them, and just take that card and instead of canceling it, just put it in your drawer. And now your average age of your account is so much older than if you were to cut it a little bit. And you're still getting the benefits of being able to have this money available to you at any time, and you can use it way more securely than debit card. So why close the account? However, there are a few nuances you want to keep in mind. Your credit utilization makes up 30% of your FICO score. So when the balance reported to the credit bureaus goes over that 10% limit, so this is what I was talking about, you want to 10x your spend, you start to lose points. When you go over 30%, you'll lose like 5 times more. That's why higher limits lead to higher credit scores, as long as you don't let your balances get out of hand. You want to aim for limits 10 times your typical spend, always. I will always preach that. Me, myself, I'm not even there. I'm calling my bank over and over again and trying to get my limits raised. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Another thing you can do, like I said, with getting those 3 cards, use these 3 cards as kind of that 10x. So pretty much if you are sitting at that $700 spend a month, if you can get 3 cards that come out to about a $7,000 spend or a $7,000 available credit to you every single month, then your overall credit utilization will be fine. Just make sure you aren't putting too much on one card and everything will even out perfectly fine. But this is something where we're still trying to push and push and push our limits to get that on one card. So that helps our credit even more because we're using even less money. So staying under 10 is nice, but there's a huge difference between 10% and 2%. The magic number where most people feel like they get the most benefits is 1 to 3% of credit utilization. However, that's definitely the long game, and if we're in the secured card phase, we probably aren't really thinking about that. Definitely just pay your balances down to 0 every single month And I promise you, you'll be able to get to those cards where you can start looking deeper into 1%, 2% utilization and what that can do for you. That's pretty much all I have for today. Credit cards are very tricky. Secured cards also very tricky. However, they're made for people to learn. They're made for people to get used to making monthly payments, get used to dealing with a bank on a monthly basis, getting used to going into a banking app and seeing how much you spent. That's what these cards are used for. So make sure that you use them for that. Don't be nervous and don't think that you need a 700 credit score to get a Discover It, secured card. You can go in there with an okay credit, get the card, start learning how to use it, and build your credit young. You don't want to start when you're 25, 26, 27. You want to start when you're 18, 19, 20. So by the time you get to 25, you've already figured things out. You've already made your mistakes if you were going to make some. Remember, it's all about starting early and ending early. You want to make sure that you aren't doing what you could be doing now in 10 years, and you got to worry about building your credit later when you actually have the money to buy a house, and you don't want to worry about building your credit now when you actually have the money to buy a car outright. You don't want to do all these things. Get everything in shape now. Use your secured cards to do that, and you'll be fine. I hope you guys check out some of my other videos. I'll have more content coming on every single Monday and Thursday. Thank you.